It was the night of October 4th, 1967. The small fishing village of Shag Harbor, tucked away along the rocky southern coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, was preparing for another quiet evening. Locals went about their routines, fishermen returned from sea, and children were tucked into bed. But as the sun disappeared behind the Atlantic, something strange began to unfold above the dark waters offshore. Something that would catapult this sleepy town into the center of one of the most mystifying UFO incidents in Canadian history. At around 11:20 p.m., multiple witnesses along the harbor's edge looked up and saw a series of brilliant lights glowing. Amber orbs silently moving information across the night sky. At first, many thought it was an aircraft in trouble. But then, without warning, the lights tilted downward and rapidly descended toward the ocean. Moments later, a bright flash lit up the sky, followed by a dull boom. Something had crashed, but it didn't explode. Instead, it glided, almost deliberately, across the water's surface before sinking slowly into the harbor. A glowing, yellowish foam began to spread over the area where it disappeared. Panic set in. Locals assumed it was a downed aircraft. Emergency services were flooded with calls. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police were dispatched, and within minutes, officers, fishermen, and curious residents had gathered along the shore. They could still see the glowing foam. Some even reported a faint humming sound, low, vibrating, mechanical. The Canadian Coast Guard arrived shortly thereafter. Boats were launched. A search began, but there was no wreckage, no survivors, no bodies, no plane, and yet they all saw something fall from the sky. What followed was one of the most perplexing investigations ever conducted by Canadian authorities, a case that began as a simple crash response and evolved into a classified military operation cloaked in secrecy. The search for answers. The next morning, Navy divers from nearby Halifax were called in to scour the seafloor. They expected to find debris from a downed plane. After all, radar stations had detected an object descending rapidly in the area. Civil aviation officials, however, confirmed that no aircraft had been reported missing. Every commercial and military flight in the region was accounted for. Still, the divers searched. For days, they explored the murky depths of Shag Harbor. They found nothing, no metal fragments, no oil slick, no human remains. But behind closed doors, rumors swirled. Some witnesses, including our CMP officers and Coast Guard crew, began to speak of a craft that didn't crash, but instead landed in the water, still operational, then disappeared beneath the waves. A few even suggested that the military knew what had gone into the harbor, and that it wasn't from this world. Then the story got stranger. The secret transfer, according to declassified but heavily redacted documents obtained decades later. The object didn't stay in Shag Harbor for long. Intelligence sources suggested it had traveled underwater along the coast to a deeper, more remote section of the sea near Shelburne, where a top-secret NATO sonar base was located. Divers were deployed there too, but this time, the operation was completely hidden from the public. For over a week, the military maintained a constant underwater presence in the area. Some reports, unconfirmed but persistent, claimed that not one, but two unidentified submerged objects were being monitored, both exhibiting signs of mobility, as if intelligently controlled. What exactly happened near Shelburne remains one of Canada's most tightly held secrets. Some insiders hinted at a standoff to unknown craft quietly sitting on the ocean floor, being observed by NATO forces until they suddenly moved, shooting into the ocean depths and vanishing without a trace. Was it surveillance? Extraction? A rescue mission? No one knows. The cover-up and silence. Officially, the Shag Harbor incident remains unexplained. The Canadian Department of National Defense labeled the event as a UFO crash in internal reports. One of the only times in North American history that a government agency explicitly used the term unidentified flying object in a formal case file. Yet, to this day, there has been no public disclosure, no acknowledgement of what truly fell into the sea that night. All official channels insist the case is closed due to a lack of evidence. Despite dozens of eyewitnesses, government reports, and confirmed search efforts, researchers and ufologists argue otherwise. They point to radar data, consistent witness testimonies, and the scale of the military response as proof that something unknown was being tracked and possibly retrieved by Canadian and American. Why here? Why Shag Harbor? The waters off Nova Scotia form part of the North Atlantic's UFO Triangle, a region that includes multiple reports of flying and submerged craft going back decades. Cold War-era surveillance bases dotted the coastline, and deep-sea trenches made it an ideal location for covert military activity or something else. Some theorists suggest the craft weren't just fleeing but hiding. The underwater geography of the area, filled with caverns and cliffs, could offer shelter for advanced technology. There's even speculation about permanent underwater bases constructed not by humans, but by whoever pilots these silent machines. Legacy of the Deep. The Shag Harbor incident stands apart from other UFO cases for one key reason: official documentation. There's no debate over whether something happened. The Canadian government itself confirmed the sighting and the search. It's the nature of the object that remains a mystery. To this day, the townspeople of Shag Harbor remember that night vividly. The glowing lights, the dive teams, the unanswered questions. Local fishermen sometimes speak of strange sonar readings or odd lights under the water even now. And every few years, new whistleblowers step forward, retired military personnel who claim the public has only heard part of the story. Could it have been an alien reconnaissance craft? A malfunctioning extraterrestrial drone? Or something far more advanced than we can even comprehend? One thing is certain: whatever entered the waters of Shag Harbor that October night did not belong to any known nation on Earth, and it left the way it came, unseen, unclaimed, and unresolved. Final thought: among the countless UFO sightings around the globe, the Shag Harbor incident remains one of the most credible, the most chilling, and the most covered up. A craft that defied physics, a government that admitted the event but denied the truth, and an ocean floor that may still hold secrets no diver has yet uncovered. Could there be more of them, still hidden beneath the waves? Or worse, are they watching from below? Stay curious, stay questioning, because what's under the water might be watching you. If you felt the chill down your spine, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Eyes Beyond Earth for real unexplained encounters, UFO sightings, and secrets they don't want you to know. New videos every week. Like the video if you believe there's more out there. Turn on notifications so you never miss what comes next. And let us know in the comments, what do you believe really happened? Until then, keep your eyes open, keep your mind sharp, and always keep looking up.